One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, and welcome to Missed Takes, the show where we disprove movie goofs with a combination of quick wit and bullshit. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Eric.
Hello.
And today, our guest is Matt. Fun little trivia. Matt's the one who made those sweet Missed Take logos, so... Missed Take logos. Yes,
you got it.
Missed Takes. Missed Takes logos. This is your first time seeing the show. Basically what we do is we take a single movie, we go through a list of movie mistakes, and it's up to us to explain how they're not actually mistakes at all, but we have to do it within the storyline of the movie. And today's movie is...
Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire.
Will you please cut in Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire right now?
Right,
Yes.
just the opening chords.
Yes.
Just- Not enough to get a strike, just enough
It's a
to...
rain of fire.
Yeah.
Rain of Fire.
Not a mistake, but a missed opportunity in that movie to
That's true.
throw that in there.
No, Missed Opportunities is our other show. Even though I already stole a drink, the beer we're drinking to go with Rain of Fire is Halberd from Flesk Brewing in Barrington. We chose Halberd because of Matthew McConaughey's awesome death scene. Spoiler.
Yeah, jeez.
And a big thanks to Flesk Brewing for letting us shoot in their badass tap room. So before we get to the movie mistakes themselves, we're going to take a couple minutes just for your hot takes, right? Your fresh thoughts having just watched the movie. So give me your Rain of Fire hot takes, boys.
Okay, so I could probably do this whole show talking about hot takes.
That's fine.
All right,
but-
we got 3 minutes, go.
Also, I would like to just point out the irony of hot takes for Rain of Fire.
Ooh.
The special effect. My hot take is the special effects in this movie hold up in a way that I don't believe any movie from 2002 hold up.
Those are some good-looking dragons, man.
You look at those dragons, and the first thing I thought of was the cave troll scene in Moria from Lord of the Rings, which was in 2001.
Yeah.
And that cave troll looks terrible. If you go back and watch Lord of the Rings, look at that
Yeah,
cave troll, it's a nightmare.
There's some forced perspective shots in those movies that, as much as I love them, it's like, I can see the edges.
Yes.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, they did a really good job, and this has got to only be a few years removed from like Sean Connery Dragonheart, right? It can't be.
No,
too
that
far out.
was 96, I think, 95, 96. So it's
All
about,
right,
it's
all
about
right.
6, 7 years
Yeah,
removed.
But just that's like a great example for a dragon that does not hold up. That it's practically a fucking cartoon. So this is pretty legit dragon.
Well, it's in that era of, oh, we can use digital effects. Oh, okay. And then everybody just did it for everything. And most of the time it looked like crap. But in this movie, it's like, oh, these dragons are like, they're Game of Thrones level dragons. Like,
Yeah.
they are like, wow.
Now, maybe it's the color filters they were using.
Touche.
in a lot of the shots.
So-
maybe it's a little bit of the editing.
I'm not supposed to admit that I know this. Those were real dragons.
Oh, jeez.
So
Fair enough.
they were like, we can't do the CGI well enough. We just need actual fucking dragons. And
Wait,
not.
so you mean
I
that-
shouldn't be saying this on video because not a lot of people know about it. But dragons are real, and they
so
are
you're-
actors.
you're-
They're almost
so-
all actors.
So you're telling me that the story arc of all 3 How to Train Your Dragons, the meta story behind all that...
Yeah, those are
trilogy
documentaries, Eric.
Is real.
Yes, the documentary series How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, that is correct, and that's why they look kind of like the Game of Thrones dragons because it's the same fucking actor. It's the same dragon.
You guys have done a missed take on my hot take.
We did. Although I heard that dragon's a real beast to work with. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna see myself out.
This movie is like, it's like fried food for me. It's like, I know it's not good overall, but it's just so enjoyable. So I had to dig into like what this director had done.
This is a great hot take.
And wow, it's like...
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, let me preface this and give the man his credit. I mean,
Okay.
he's still working in a field that none of us are working in, so
Absolutely.
it's like, hey, kudos and respect.
Right.
However,
However,
television seems to be doing really well for him.
okay.
Sure.
This is a dude who cut his teeth on 21 Jump Street,
Yes.
you know, through MacGyver, Baywatch, X-Files, Lone Gunman, Castle.
Nice.
You know, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, a ton. So he's worked basically a lot of stuff for Fox, I found.
Yeah.
But it's like, he's working.
Yeah.
He's getting the work. He's getting the job done. Feature movies.
Oh, boy.
Theatrically released movies.
There's one in there.
There's
It's
3
a
that jumped out, and
it's
it's
a
really the
stinker.
only 3 he's got. So this was his second.
Okay.
And once I tell you his filmography, I'm gonna say arguably his best.
Oh God.
His predecessor to this was '93's Airborne.
Oh boy.
That's the Seth Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing
Like,
up, right? The
let's
skateboarding
let's
movie.
make
Yeah.
Seth Green a teen heartthrob
Yeah.
movie.
That's Airborne was my quintessential I'm staying home from school movie. Like, not that I wanted to watch it, but Airborne was just always on when I stayed home.
sure.
Like I'm watching HBO in the middle of the day,
Airborne-
as long as it's not Wimbledon.
Yeah, Airborne is to like the early '90s like television what like Beastmaster was on USA in the '80s. It's like it was on a loop.
Just always on.
So then he gets this one.
Right.
Then his follow-up in 2005 comes around.
Just wait for this stink bomb.
Hit me.
It's gonna hit you.
Oh, you're so not ready.
You're
Oh,
not. You're not
my body's
ready.
ready.
2005, Elektra. You weren't ready.
Oh God.
It's so bad.
Oh.
And Netflix has now shown us what a good Elektra could be. I
Yeah,
feel,
like,
in my
I-
opinion,
You know, I'm actually not very happy with you, sir, because I forgot that movie existed, and I was perfectly fine forgetting that Elektra existed. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You're off the show. We're done. We're done. So, kind of I don't know what counts as a hot take, but how the fuck does the mom die? Like, it's really weird. I actually rewound it and watched it again, because the dragon climbs up and, like, bangs on the cage, but, like, she just, like, dies and she's bleeding from somewhere.
yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, I feel like this could
Like, it's not a mistake, but it's like, how did she die?
It could be a mistake. I mean, it could. I don't know. The dragon flies past her with such velocity that
She just-
the wind sort of like
It just
pushes her.
Dragon wind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dragon
It just
wind.
pushes her through like the fifth dimension, and she winds up in Silent Hill running the cult out.
Yeah,
Cause of
that's
death,
pretty good.
dragon wind.
I have no idea.
So something, it still counts as a hot take, something that drives me crazy in this and all apocalypse movies, they do it in a quiet place, but anything where the world is ending. They always kind of have those quick cutaways to like the newspaper and like the headlines of like, this is the end and whatever. I fucking call bullshit, because no one, it takes a lot of people to put out an article, to put out a newspaper, to put out a magazine. No one's fucking working at that newspaper anymore.
No.
I got news for you. No one's like, Ryan, need a headline, stat, write an article on the fact the world's fucking over. Like, oh, you got it, boss. Like, no, we're like, boop, boop. I'm going home.
Right.
The world's ending.
Well, there's like a Time magazine cover. Isn't there like a
Although-
Time magazine that they're going through?
Is
I'm
this
like,
the end?
The funny part is
My
there's
goodness.
a typo that I noticed because my brain is broken, where they say something about Europe's capitals, but they have the apostrophe in the wrong spot, like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
after the S. But now maybe that's because they're like, they have a janitor doing it. They were like, I guess I'm a reporter now.
yeah, all our writers were burned up.
Well, and then I want to see, see that cutaway where there's like dragons attacking, or you're seeing nukes going off, but people just running and screaming. But there's like one graphic designer just obsessing over the kerning in "The World's Over." Like,
Yeah, I call
fuck.
that role.
Yeah,
by the
like,
way.
Like, I've got a
come here.
deadline.
Does this look
people.
right to you? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
there's too much space between the A and the V. Can
yeah,
you tighten that up a little?
just a couple
Yeah.
of pixels. Well, the world's fucking ending.
I would also like to point out that I would like Aaron Sorkin to be the showrunner for this. So it's newsroom, only it's apocalyptic. So you're just adding in that element.
Do you think we
I
could
like
get
this.
Ryan Fuller into the writers' room for just like some of the dialogue? and
Sure.
punch up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're done. We're done here, so we're gonna go work on our new show.
Ryan Fuller,
Goodbye.
Patton Oswalt, and then I think it's like that way we can do dramedy.
Yes, I like that.
All right, so let's get into the mistakes, because
Okay.
we've already spent 10 minutes on hot takes.
no, I told you
Kinda
we
knew
can do a whole show on hot takes.
All right, so McConaughey's super shitty beard changes length various times throughout the movie. Like, it just goes weep, 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 weep,
Yeah.
weep.
Oh,
Like
So-
it's like we are kind of like the three phases of McConaughey's beard.
Yeah, we did this on purpose.
And almost
This is-
in chronological order of like first act, second act, third act, or
Yeah.
vice versa, where it's really kind of it's willy nilly at best.
So how does his beard change length? If it's not a mistake.
If it was chronological, I would say okay, it obviously got burned off from a dragon attack, but they don't even do that right.
Right.
So I would say it's because he is just the manliest of men, and much like the Capital One commercials with the Vikings and Alec Baldwin in the
Just
beard growing contest, yeah, he's just willing it to
Ooh,
change
but
shape.
You know what it is? Maybe it's as simple as it's a fake beard, but like maybe he has a few of them, like depending on like
sure.
how he's feeling that day. But
Yeah,
like
it's a fashion
because he needs
choice.
to be tough, right? So.
He's actually like the actor, I think his name is James Tolkien, who played the principal in Back to the Future.
Right.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was
The Top Gun as well.
the commander in Top Gun, where it's like he just has alopecia, and he knows no one's gonna follow him if he's basically just like if he just looks like a jacked Uncle Fester, no one's coming with him.
Right. So you got to have the fake beard, and maybe like they can tell like everyone knows it's a fake beard, so it's like, oh fuck, he's wearing the 2-inch shirt today. Like this is a bad day.
Business.
This is a bad day. Like he's
do what he says.
right.
Just not even if you disagree with it, nod and say get
Yeah.
it done. Just get
When
him,
he's when he's rocking the 2-incher, just fucking go along with him.
Yeah. He like inserts his dominance just based on his beard length.
It's like when a cat or a dog puts their hackles up. It's like, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
You see him standing straight. It's like,
gosh,
no. Get the chewy treats.
So it's beyond fashion. It's communication as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, he's not really eloquent in this movie, so
Yeah.
he kind of falls back on the beard. Just focusing on McConaughey, since we're going to start off with that. There's a scene where he's showing off his dental jewelry, from the first one I killed.
Sure, yeah.
He's got a cigar in his hand for like a split second, and then it vanishes, and he's still got the tooth in his hand.
Oh, is this a mistake? Is this a...
Yeah. So I think it's something where cause we noticed that he's at one point he's smoking a cigar and then takes it out, but he's got like tobacco, like chewing tobacco. But I think it was just. He was just mowing on that cigar so much. So I think it's literally the dude just fucking eats cigars. So it's like he's popping them like fucking sausages. He's like so anyway. Here's this dragon dude. They're like, holy shit.
Lest we forget, this is something that we have to bring up. I feel early in the show. This is a movie trying to basically play like who is the more alpha. This is the movie where it's like lest we forget, we have. A future Batman, King Leonidas of the Spartans,
Yes,
and then the Lincoln Lawyer, all basically jockeying for like top dog position to go up against fucking dragons.
right. So I'll even do you one better. There was earlier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there was talk of McConaughey being Captain America.
I do remember.
And
that.
in this movie, I feel like he's dystopian Captain America, which
he's Commander Dystopia.
And so it feels like. Throughout the movie, it's Captain America and Batman like jockeying for dominance.
Butting heads.
Yeah, they're just butting heads. There's even moments where Christian Bale is riding a horse around and he's got like a gun and he looks very much like Frank Miller's Dark Knight.
Yeah,
like
So
riding
basically,
around.
Christopher Nolan watches the movie is like, that's my Batman.
Yeah.
So they have a scene where it's like they eat ash. That's what the dragons. And they burn the little crop after those guys try to this is right in the beginning, by the way. They run out, and then later on, as Christian Bale is doing his emo walk through the wreckage, there's still plenty of produce left on the shelf. I mean, the frames of some of those plants aren't even knocked out. Sure, they're blackened, they're singed, but it's like you could still salvage a lot of this. And he's basically going, no, it's a complete write-off.
Well, I think. Just because you're starving, I think this goes both for the dragon and for society. Just because you're starving doesn't mean you can't be a picky eater. Yeah. So I think it's just something where it's like, as far as he's concerned, like, this is all a fucking loss. But there's food. No. Because I fucking hate tomatoes. I am not going to eat them. I would rather starve to death than...
This wasn't for me. This was for everyone else. I had my own shit growing here.
Right, it's like I'm not fucking eating.
So he's basically Gordon Ramsaying his way through the wreckage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... Well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not even picky eater. It's just he's got standards. He's like, I can't serve this. Like I will not serve this. I'm not putting my name on this.
Or it's just because it's like
this is trash.
Or maybe even just simpler. It's like I am allergic to nightshade plants. He said, "You fuckers planted tomatoes."
All right, so I'll say the dragon was picky.
Sure.
And that's why he didn't eat the tomatoes. And then it's just high standards for the humans.
High standards / anaphylaxis for
again. The apocalypse is no reason to lower your fucking standards, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Plating matters, even in a dystopia.
I think that's good. Picky eater. That's good. I like that.
So part of the film is set in treacherous mountain terrain, allegedly in Norfolk, famously one of the flattest counties in England.
Okay. This is right back to Where's the Bridge in Sterling from Braveheart.
Right.
I would say, lest we forget, in that whole opening exposition, Christian Bale talks about it's like they used everything against these things. They tried nukes, they threw armies against them, and he also mentions that the ash brought on ice ages. I think between climate change and just what was a brief but violently intense, warfare campaign, they managed to really screw up even the terrain of Northumberland.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So they literally raised mountains, like not raised.
Or
raised,
even just
raised.
nuke went off over there, flash boiled all these streams, and all of a sudden, hey, look, valleys and erosion.
I think it might be as simple as a naming thing. Like it's Norfolk, right? So it's like maybe it's just a part of their accent. Like there's Norfolk here, and there's Norfolk here. Like there's no longer people there. It's literally Norfolk.
So it's just a disinformation campaign to maybe get dragons to look away from.
Well, I mean,
there's no people here.
Here's the deal: we've already established that we've got the
There's
janitor
no
writing
buildings,
Time.
Norfolk.
We've established that Time magazine is now being written by janitors.
Yes.
So I would go ahead and say that the recorded history is starting to get
unreliable
poorer
at
and poorer and poorer.
It's also written by janitors.
Yeah.
Everything's written by janitors.
Also, we love janitors.
Yeah. Hey, this one's for you,
Hey,
janitors.
you're
Yeah,
doing a
hey.
job I could not do.
That's true.
Pour one out for the janitors.
Don't pour it out. This is
I'm
really
not.
good.
It's really
This
good.
one
I'm
for
going to keep drinking it.
As Van Zandt climbs the covered ladder near the end, the arms of his crossbow catch and bend, revealing the crossbow to be rubber. Now,
Well,
of course, it's not a movie prop; it's a
so-
rubber crossbow. But why is this crossbow?
Because I think it is advanced technology.
Okay.
It is a substance that you can, or it is a material that you can use, and it's rigid enough to shoot an arrow, but it's also bendable so that if you like ram it against something, it's like unbreakable. It's like an unbreakable crossbow.
Is it like the composite fabric that Lucius Fox shows Batman in Batman
Yes!
Begins, where it's like there's like a little 9-volt in the stock where it's like put some current through that, it stiffens up, and it's like you could launch.
Wait, so
you could launch a fucking bolt out of this.
Yeah!
That'll pierce a tanker truck, but it's like you carry it around. Oh, look at this! It's floppy and lightweight and easy to carry. And
So I think
That's
we're
it.
really laying down the fact here that that Reign of Fire inspired the entire Batman franchise.
Yeah.
The Nolan, because it means
the Nolan trilogy.
the
Yes.
Nolan trilogy, because that means he cast from there,
Yep.
right? But he saw the crossbow. He's like, "Oh, I got a really good idea now."
Yeah, I like that.
Like-
That's how the writer's mind works. It's like just one little thing. And it's like there's something there, and I must have it.
Yeah.
So Batman is a ripoff of Reign of Fire.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say spin-off, not so much a blatant ripoff.
At the end of the film, when they're battling with the male dragon, what are American traffic lights doing in London?
I think a dragon. So obviously these dragons are going across country,
Right.
you know, and they clearly are feasting on the burned, ash. That's one thing that they do. So these dragons are in America, flying around. They get some traffic lights. They burn a bunch of cityscape,
Right.
and then they just kind of go down to eat it or whatever, and they accidentally grab a traffic light. They get back, they're like, oh, this is
gonna
like London's like home base. And so they're like, oh, this is gross. We didn't burn this all the way, or I don't want to eat it. And they just kind of spit it out. And it
I'm
just
going to go
lands
one
in-
step further.
Okay.
Conspiracy theory level.
Oh, shit.
Almost, right?
Did we help the dragons?
No, this entire movie takes place in America.
Oh.
That's why there's mountains in
Oh,
Norfolk, right? That's
yeah.
why, because there's other geographical
Are we
problems.
talking like
So-
Norfolk, Virginia? Though?
Yeah, maybe. So they're trying to. They're basically, this is like New London. Like they're trying to create this, like, because
Sure.
England is fucking gone. It has been destroyed. So they're building, like, they're psyching themselves up, lying to themselves, kind of lying to the children, kind of like the village a little bit.
Yeah.
Like this is England, but really, yeah, this place is like in Virginia somewhere. Like, so it's
in
all in America,
Appalachia.
which is why they get the tanks and stuff there so easily.
Right.
And so like, so the Americans kind of, they know that these fucking people are loony,
Sure.
and they're really kind of pretending it's England. So like, oh, we fucking use so much fuel to get here. Like, yeah, we're our base is like literally 20 minutes away.
I think you could also go back to our love you janitors being the ones who are recording history now.
So
They're like, oh, where
England?
are we? And we're like, oh, this is London, and they're in Norfolk, Virginia. Like, where are we? Like, this is London. Like, it is. Like, yeah. I mean, I wrote it in Time magazine.
Yeah,
Well,
London.
I mean, Virginia was one of the original colonies from Britain, so
Yeah, there you go.
well, and for the most part, it's been like 20 years, right? So all these kids don't
Sure.
fucking know any better. So you can just tell these kids, oh, this is London. They're like, all right.
It isn't the only character that has like a true like British accent. Christian Bale.
well, he's even Welsh.
Yeah, he's well. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, this New England,
But there's no one else.
New England.
But no one else is like.
you've got a Welshman, a Scotsman, and an American, and
Yeah.
then a Polish woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alex, who is this
Alex.
red-blooded American girl who just her accent is just dying to break through every
Yes.
line that she says. She just wants to.
It is,
I am from America. yeah. Sure, you fucking are.
And I know she's Polish. However, I feel like she's Russian.
Yeah, for our purposes, she's Russian.
she's played a Russian in GoldenEye.
Right.
Yes,
So it's
exactly.
just burned into our brain that way.
Yeah, I think that is what it is. But she is not American in this
so,
movie.
so speaking of her, when they introduce her, this is a very brief mistake, but I'm curious to see your explanations. She's introduced as a member of the U.S. Cavalry, not cavalry.
This is Alexander Jensen, U.S. Cavalry.
Cavalry.
So what is the cavalry?
Oh, the Cavalry.
The cavalry is like, yeah, she's in the cavalry.
I mean, I think it's an umbrella organization.
Ooh, yes, hit me. Tell me more.
Well, I think they're the ones that are, sort of creating this. What do you call it? This facade of that we're now in. That we're actually in the
England?
U.S., but we're in London. So
Okay.
they're like Shield.
Okay,
Oh.
but they're the cavalry.
They're
So
the
the
Cavalry.
Cavalry organization.
The Cavalry Directorate is now calling the shots.
Right.
I mean, maybe they even created the dragons. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't know.
Like it could be like a real shadow organization.
It's exactly what it is, a shadow organization.
Shadow organization.
Yeah, and they're running the show. Everything,
Right.
all of these conspiracies that we've been talking about, like why are there traffic lights here?
It's the cavalry.
It's the Cavalry.
the cavalry.
I can't even say it.
Well, it's probably.
the wrong way.
Well, obviously,
Calvary.
there's a guy named Calvin who started all of this, right?
yeah.
He's the fucking genesis.
I like
was
that.
Calvin, so they are all part
He
of
was
this cavalry.
He was Van Zant's former commander, and they just called themselves that in honor of him.
Calvin.
Because he was the one who was like, "No, I'm going to die here in Texas. You guys go to London to find the source of this."
The wound on Quinn's chin after his fight with Van Zandt changes position in the next scene.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say that what we're actually witnessing is, look, there's not a lot of medicine. It's like, when Alex gives him that thing of iodine,
Right.
it's like, this is probably the first, bit of like medical technology these people have seen probably since forever.
Right.
So it's like, sure, it's one wound, but you got to think about, there's scabies, climate change, just, infections are running rampant, communicable diseases are kind of on the rise.
So he cured one, but then immediately got another one.
It's
Because
just,
it's
like,
just a rough world.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Skin lesion, it's like, okay, if I'm not dead in 2 days, this is either, it's either bubonic plague or just dry skin. It's it's just.
We could go pure prestige on this one, and he's a twin, and there's two of them.
Oh hell yeah! Let's go full prestige.
Let's go full prestige.
Yeah.
Is that also Christopher Nolan? Did Christopher Nolan
It is,
steal
yeah.
Holy shit! Christopher Nolan stole everything from Reign of Fire.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're fucking welcome, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say he's a twin, and there's two of them. And so one of them fought Van Zandt, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking lay down. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put that wound on so I can go out. And he's like, hey, you fucked it up. Whatever.
Wait.
Yeah,
never mind.
I think it also supports when he just gets his ass kicked by Van Zandt, and you're like, how are you the alpha of this group? He just got that shit kicked
No,
out
it's
of
the other
you.
brother who was
Yeah,
smart enough to hide in the background. It's just like, you didn't see the beard? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what?
Yeah, he had long beard today.
Maybe one
It's
brother.
like, he's gonna do the whole. He's gonna give the speech. It's like, no, you just. Oh, you didn't get. You didn't read my memo I left for you.
One brother planted the tomatoes, and the other brother's like, I fucking hate tomatoes. He knows I hate tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that fucking dick. So like the other brother would have been like, oh, sweet tomatoes.
Yeah. I think that the twin is a plant from the Cavalry.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he's an inside man.
destabilize
It's an
that
inside
castle.
man. Yeah, certainly.
It's a false flag operation.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Van Zandt and Alex tell. I just want to keep calling him Chris Bell. Is it Quinn?
Yeah.
Quinn, yeah.
Quinn. That there's one.
Well,
male
one of the
dragon.
two Quins. There's
Right.
two Quins.
Yeah,
So,
great.
depends on which
That
Quinn.
There's only one male dragon, and like fish, the whole thing, makes a pass, fertilizes
Sure.
the egg bubble. When he goes to look at the dead dragon that they bring down, and I'm going to circle back to that whole
Okay.
thing in a minute. He pulls out an egg, and it's got an embryo in it. So that only happens after fertilization. There's two possibilities, and one is gruesome.
Ooh, do the gruesome one.
Yeah.
So that means
Let's hear
that,
it.
okay, yeah, sure, it's fight for the survival of the species, but then
Right.
that means that this band of plucky heroes, the the Archangels, and Van Zant, and Quinn's people in the castle killed a pregnant female.
Aww.
They killed a would-be mother, these savages.
Those sons of bitches.
Yeah, I don't. This is gonna get too political.
Oh, now I'm sad. Now I'm sad. What's the other option?
Yeah, what's the not
creepy
gruesome
one?
option?
The less sad one.
The last gruesome option, which doesn't fit into the context of the show, is just like, oh, the prop department wanted to make this really cool thing that doesn't fucking work.
Oh yeah, well that's probably accurate.
Yeah, but so shit. We stuck with.
So you're stuck with the gruesome
So we're stuck
option.
with. Oh.
So,
Well, no. I mean, we don't know the biology of dragons, right?
No.
So I will say that even as an embryo, our understanding of fertilization is different from what a dragon fertilization is. So
Yeah.
it looks like a fully formed embryo, but really it's nothing. It's inert until basically it gets the magic dragon juju. So it's fine.
Well,
She wasn't pregnant. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Everything is fine.
So
It's-
with
oh,
that in
God.
mind,
He's
Yeah,
gonna-
bring it.
He's gonna
Bring it.
ruin it. He's gonna ruin
Bring
it.
it.
so assuming that these are somewhat like chickens, but with actual embryonic forms, inert embryonic forms.
There we go.
In the eggs until fertilization.
Yes.
Yeah.
If these things are anything like any other warm-blooded creature, where it's like, okay, the eggs only last so long before they're reabsorbed and just broken down for tissue in the
Right.
human's body, that means that there's whole generations, whole genetic combinations of embryonic inert dragons just being manufactured and reabsorbed.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Without ever having seen life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. No wonder the dragons were able to do so much damage. They are hard-assed.
Yeah.
To the
They're
core.
fucking hardcore.
Yeah, it's
All right, so
nature.
that brings up the next.
I wonder if
Nature's brutal.
chemtrails. There's like chemtrails are those fertilizing dragons. Maybe that's how Calvin started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So with that same thing, since we've now just proven that how hardcore dragons are,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, they'll reabsorb their unfertilized young. They give no fucks. They are the honey badgers of the sky that breathe fire.
Also, what we should have named this movie. Or what this movie
Honey
should have been
Badgers of the
named.
Sky
Honey Badgers of the Sky.
with no fucks as like the subtitle.
No,
That's the sequel.
No, I think we keep Rain of Fire, but the subhead is Honey Badgers of the Sky.
Badgers of the Sky.
Rain of
So-
Fire, Honey
so
Badgers of the
when-
Sky.
The final face-off, back in the ruins of supposed London.
Yeah. Hashtag Virginia.
Right.
Hashtag Appalachia. They bring down the progenitor of the species with like basically battle axes, crossbows, and
Halberds.
and wreckage.
Right.
But we're also supposed to believe that this is the species that overran an entire world filled with battleships, cruise missiles, tanks, and
Yeah.
satellite weaponry.
Right.
So I'm gonna say that the real dragon, the real like champions of the Dragon War, the ones that killed all the fucking people off, those are the ones that are actually in England and Europe. Like those, like the dragons in this movie. These are like the scrubs. These are like
Yeah.
junior varsity dragons,
Not
right?
even. These are freshmen.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
tryouts.
So it's like the crossbows and stuff wouldn't work against these real dragons. That's why they fucked off out of England and
Yeah.
when it came to New England.
Yeah.
Because they knew that all the dragons hanging out in America were the shitty dragons. So
Yeah.
they're
So,
like,
like,
let's just go live by the shitty dragons.
So, like the quote unquote only male that is killed at the end that ends the species supposedly, is this would-be freshman bully, like the Biff Tannen
Right.
of
Right.
dragons, and yet like and here's a deep cut reference, the Nicol Bolas of the actual dragon species. Ask Magic the Gathering is still in London, just sitting back, going like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
This is the best
Yeah.
you can do.
He like checks in every now and again. He's like on his like dragon Google. He's like, how they doing in New London? Yeah, fucking idiots. All right, who cares?
So the whole thing about like crops being above ground, and the ash bringing on ice ages. Okay, so they can build a panic room with high volume pressure sprinklers under a castle. They can't figure out hydroponics or like a grow room, like underground.
Well, that's because the dude in the beginning is like, I used to build blast furnaces. I'm going to tell you that in this exposition line.
Right.
Yeah.
that I would never actually
While
say.
Christian Bale holds the lighter right next to the sprinkler head that is activated by what, boys and girls? Fire.
But only dragon fire. That guy is so good that it's only activated by dragon fire.
Which
is-
but basically, the dude knows blast furnaces and only blast furnaces. They were like, "Do you want to learn anything else?" He's like, "Nope, blast furnaces."
Only.
Old Blasty Barry, they call him, because he only knows blast furnaces, and that they can kind of do the sprinkler system from that. But he's like, "That's all I got."
Yeah, but isn't dragon fire like? Don't we all know and assume that dragon fire is magic? It's not like actual fire.
Yes, it also smells like nutmeg, which is weird.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I would like to point out one thing. I don't know if this would classify as a mistake or not, but I think it's hilarious when Gerard Butler, and I brought this up already, he's going to go out and like fight the dragon, and Christian Bale's like, "Don't do it." And he's like, "I'm going to do it." And he's like, "All right, well, here, take this fire extinguisher." And he gives him a fire extinguisher, and he's like, holding it, and he's like, and then the dragon comes down and blows some fire at him, and he just dies holding a fire extinguisher.
And the door slams shut.
So I think that's just
That's when we knew he would be Leonidas.
That's Christian Bale covering his own ass. He knows that nothing's going to happen, but he knows that when the oversight committee comes in and kind of checks out, they're like, "Well, did you give him a fire extinguisher?" Like, yes, I gave him a fire extinguisher. Like, OSHA's still a thing, people.
That is also the beta twin who would not really know what else to do other than, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this."
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
true.
right.
Oh my God, there's two twins. Well, I think we've managed to prove that Reign of Fire is a flawless movie. So well done, boys.
Yeah, perfect movie, I would
Perfect
argue.
movie. And until next time, remember, there are no mistakes, only missed takes. Cheers.